My name is Sarah. I'm a mom and astrologist, and today, oh my goodness, I almost got to start. My dog is having a fit because there's lots of energy in the world. Today we have an Aries solar eclipse, which is a fancy term for a new moon that happens to be a solar eclipse. And it is at 29 degrees of Aries. About a month ago, we had a new moon at 0 degrees of Aries, so it's also called a black new moon because it's two new moons in one spot. Are you done, sir? Either he's agreeing with me or disagreeing with me. I don't know. So if you are joining me live or on the replay, feel free to comment below where you're joining from. If you know your sun, moon, and rising, feel free to leave that if you feel comfortable with that. So let's first dive into the Aries solar eclipse. Solar eclipses are not times when you want to make moon water, charge your crystals, or make intentions. It is a time, and I think it's fabulous that we start Mercury Retrograde on Friday, because Mercury Retrograde is a time when we reflect, and a solar eclipse, this 2-week time period between the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse, I invite you to just journal. Just write down, what do you notice happening in your life? Because what an eclipse does, it's like a new moon or full moon times 10. And this new moon, this solar eclipse that is happening at 29 degrees of Aries tonight at 11:12 p.m. Central Time, convert for your time zone, is going to be like times 100 because it's right next to the planet Jupiter. Now, Jupiter in a person's chart is a benefactor, is what they call it. It is something that is very much larger than life. So to have this sun and moon combination be right next to Jupiter is going to make it be very, 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 very huge. And I'm really glad that, I'm not sure of your name, you asked the question, your vibing is high, is there any way I can turn it down? That is something that I actually wanted to talk about. So thank you for asking that question. So yes, it is going to be very common today, tomorrow, until the moon moves into Taurus, and our sun also moves into Taurus on Thursday. You might feel like there's a buildup of energy, especially if you look to see what house your chart falls in, wherever Aries is. The reason why is that Jupiter sitting right next to the sun and moon is going to just make that fire sky that we have in the air that much more charged, because Aries is a fire sign. So Aries is ruled by the planet Mars, and Mars is our drive, our passion. In these next few days, today, tomorrow, and if you're a parent, this is especially true for your kiddos, they need to move their body. The best way that if you feel very charged and very like, oh my gosh, I feel like my body is just vibing, to put it into your words, ground yourself. Go outside if it's nice out, barefoot if you can, and walk around on the earth. It really does calm it. You can do something as simple as taking your dominant hand and putting it over your head like this, and you'll start to feel yourself grounding. You can also do breath work. I use an app called Balance. They were Apple's app of the year in January, and in January it was free. I don't know if they still have it for free. If they do, I would go grab it. They have 1-minute meditations, 10-minute meditations. They even have stuff all the way through the year. I am not affiliated with them in any way, shape, or form. I do use their meditations because I like guided meditations. It feels better to me than unguided. Breath work can be as simple as breathing in for 4, holding for 4, breathing out for 4, holding for 4. doing that for several breaths in and out, and you'll start to feel your nervous system start to calm down. Because Aries energy associated with that planet of Mars, it really needs to move, and if it doesn't have an outlet, you might feel like you're exploding. And if you're a parent, sometimes that comes out in frustrations and wanting to have things their way. Okay? If you're watching this live or on the replay, let me know if that makes sense so far in the comments, please. So some of the other things for you to know is this is a starting and an ending eclipse. For the last 2 years, we have eclipses 2 times a year, in the spring and in the fallish. And well, at least it feels like that. It's going to change as it goes through. And they are associated with the nodes. The nodes are an invisible spot on the moon. And in astrology, how I've learned it is it's like the key to enlightenment. If you go towards your north node, which is a choice, you are working towards your destiny. Okay? All of us have this in our chart. They look like a little circle with headphones, kind of like a Princess Leia, if you know what I mean, if you understand the reference. And right, for the last 2 years, we've had it in Aries and Libra. So the solar eclipses have always happened during Aries and Libra season. All right, so that's the cardinal signs. So anybody who has 29 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, this solar eclipse may feel a little bit more personal to you. Also, you want to look about 3 degrees before 29, so that would be 28, 27, or 26, all the way up to 2 degrees of the next sign to see if you have any planets that might be punctuated during this time. So that would be looking at, I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget, 24 to 29 degrees of Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra. And then on the other side of the solar eclipse, you would look up to 0 to 3 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius. And just see if anything else might be touched either by what we call a square, which is a 90-degree angle directly across, which is an opposition, or it could be a sextile or a trine. It just means you're going to have energy that might be feeling easier or not so easy for you. Okay, I'll do this. Maybe a projector. Can I turn on and put something on my device? Oh, you can go to the link in my bio. There's a freebie there called a birth chart freebie, and it sends you to my website, and from there it teaches you how to make your own birth chart. In order to make a birth chart, you do need your name, or not your name, your birthday, your time, and your location to have the houses. And without the time of day, you're not going to be able to know where the houses are. And houses are just the pieces of a pie, okay? When you go to the highlighted parts are just the cardinal signs, so disregard that. But when you go to my website and click on the link in my bio, it'll teach you how to make this chart. You can also consult with me or another astrologist, and they can look at it very easily and see if anything is connected to you, okay? Let me know if that helps. So eclipses in general are times when we are invited to just let the energy wash over us. It literally will remove things in your life that no longer serve you. And as a result, it may feel like it's a sudden change. Because this is happening in Aries, is asking about yourself. Because Aries is all about your body, it's all about yourself. The opposite of Aries is Libra, so that is relationships. So if there's a sudden drop in a relationship, it might be associated with this lunation. The lunar eclipse that we're going to have on May 5th is going to be in Scorpio, and this is the last of, yes, because it's Aries Libra we're moving into, and Scorpio we're moving out of. So we've been having Taurus, I was wrong at the beginning. We've been having Taurus and Scorpio eclipses for the last 2 years, and we're moving out of that cycle. So May 5th, we're going to have our last solar or lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and then this fall, we will have our last solar eclipse in Taurus. And so for the next 2 years, the eclipses are all going to be in Aries and Libra. I apologize for making that mistake. I'm glad I caught myself. They are something that you want to just observe. I invite you to have a journal handy so that if you're noticing that things are happening around you or to you, you write it down. Try not to take it personally, because the idea behind the nodes is it's happening to your benefit, to help you move into a higher and more enlightened state. If you're interested in learning more about the nodes, I highly recommend checking out Jan Spinner's Astrology for the Soul. This book is all about the different nodes and what they mean. You can look up, for example, I have my North Node in Scorpio. So when I wanted to learn about that, I looked up Scorpio North Node, and then I also looked up the Libra one because it's in the 7th house. And I saw what kind of worked with that there. And then I did the same thing for all my kids. So again, if you're interested in learning more about North Nodes, highly recommend this book, Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spinner. Okay, so what else did I want to share? This lunation is also going to be squaring Pluto, because Pluto is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And so it's a highly transformational time. So it's just doubly, and because it's right next to Jupiter, it could feel like, oh my gosh, all of this is happening just like a whoosh. And that's why I say having a journal handy is going to be helpful, because this is not the time to make any kind of intention setting unless you really want that intention to like be amplified so very much more. So that is what's happening with these Aries solar eclipse. If this kind of thing interests you, I invite you to look at subscribing to my email newsletter, and that way you're able to get a weekly forecast from me. Every week I send one out on Saturdays. I'm going to include the replay of this that I will have on my YouTube channel so that you're able to do that as well. It does have the ability to be a very healing solar eclipse. Sometimes they can be very sudden and very unexpected. So try to go with the flow as much as you possibly can when it comes to your emotions, because the moon is all about your emotions. And so if you do feel like, oh my gosh, I just have to release so much energy, use the elements. If you feel like you have to release a lot of energy and you have a fire sign for your sun, moon, or rising, maybe try going for a walk. If you have an earth sign for sun, moon, or rising, maybe try going outside and just breathing the air. That would be good also for any air signs as well. If you have a water, air, moon, or rising, drinking water or being in a bath may help diffuse some of that energy. Especially today through tomorrow, while this eclipse is happening, I do invite you to drink more water, get more rest. One of my mentors, when she was describing this eclipse, she said, feed your inner toddler. So ask yourself, as if you're a toddler, do you need a snack? Do you need a nap? Do you need a glass of water? Do you need to go take a bath and calm down? Have that kind of energy go towards it. Let me know if this helps, and tell me in the comments below. So we have just talked about this Aries solar eclipse, I want to now talk about the next thing that's going to happen, which is the Taurus season. So Taurus is actually going to start on Thursday. And Taurus season is a 30-day time period between April 20th and May 20th, 21st, depending on where or when you were born. And it is the first of the 3 earth signs. I'm a Taurus rising, so in this lifetime, I'm rising to embody Taurus, is basically what a rising sign is. It is a fixed earth sign. And so what that means is if you have a Taurus person in your life, they might be very stubborn. On the high road of Taurus, they are considered to be grounded, patient, loyal, embodied, real, abundant, generous, beautiful, and sometimes even artistic. The low road of Taurus is stubborn, static, hoardy, greedy, cold, hard, and lazy. We can have both, and we can have both in the same day. Heck, we could have both in the same hour. Even if you don't have any planets in Taurus, I don't have any planets in Taurus. My rising sign is there, but I don't have anything else there. Everybody has Taurus in their chart. It's just when you have a planet in the sign of Taurus, that area is highlighted just a little bit more. So I invite you to look at that birth chart that you've created with the freebie and the link in my bio and see what area of life Taurus falls for you. When you do that, you can see what area of life is going to be punctuated by this season. And I have some horoscopes here for that as well. This is the time of year when your energy tends to be honed into these areas. So where you would want to look at, and these are by rising signs, is either by your rising sign or see where 0 degrees of Taurus falls in your chart. Okay? So if you have an Aries rising or 0 degrees of Taurus falls in your 2nd house, this time period is going to feel like it's about money, possessions, resources, and how you make a living and things you value. If you are a Taurus rising or 0 degrees of Taurus is in your 1st house, this is about self-awareness, your identity, appearance, personality, the way you view yourself, your character, your primary motivation, your body, your health, and your vitality. If you're a Gemini rising or 0 degrees of Taurus is in your 12th house, this will be a time period of mental health, the subconscious, the ways we self-sabotage, the ways you isolate yourself, hidden enemies, transcendence, and spiritual elimination. If you are a Cancer rising or 0 degrees of Taurus is in your 11th house, this will be a time of friends with influence, alliances, your hopes, dreams, social media, personal and professional networks, unions, mentors that support you. If you are a Leo rising or 0 degrees of Taurus is in your 10th house, this will be about your reputation, profession, actions, relationships with authority, your father and their family, destiny, and your ambitions. If you are a Virgo rising or 0 degrees of Taurus is in your 9th house, higher education, divination, foreign travel, religion, astrology, the divine masculine, your ability to grow, adapt, and learn. If you are a Libra rising or 0 degrees of Taurus is in your 9th house, this or 8th house, it can be about investment, other people's money, debt, topics concerning death, psychology, taxes, fears, transformation, and the occult. A Scorpio rising or 0 degrees of Taurus in the 7th house is about committed relationships, contracts, business partners, other contractual relationships, and open enemies. A Sagittarius rising or 0 degrees of Taurus in the 6th house is about physical health, illness, co-workers, your jobs, pets, self-improvement, the things you feel obligated to. Capricorn rising or Taurus, 0 degrees of Taurus in your 5th house is children, pleasure, romance, dating, sexuality, things you desire, creative arts, love affairs, the ways in which you are entertained, close friends, and lovers. Aquarius risings or 0 degrees of Taurus in the 4th house is family, home life, land, ancestors, private self, your emotional foundation, gains from hidden sources, your mother and their family. And if you are a Pisces rising or Taurus is at 0 degrees in your 3rd house, it'd be about communication, divination, short distance travel, your neighborhood, writing your immediate your environment, your immediate environment, so like your neighborhood, siblings, and cousins. So those would be the horoscopes for Taurus season, the next 30 days that starts on Thursday. Taurus season is a time when you feel like you just want to slow down. And being rushed is not something that typically feels good when the sun is in Taurus. Some of the things that I like to recommend is being barefoot if it's possible, doing earthy things like baking or eating whole foods, gardening. I think it's interesting, Taurus season happens when many of us plant our gardens in the northern hemisphere. Rest and return to the 5 senses, because Tauruses just love to have the 5 senses. My favorite analogy for Taurus season is the story called Ferdinand the Bull. And there's a Disney cartoon that I sent in my last email to my subscribers with that video. And it shows them how he just was a bull that wanted to sit on the top of a hill and smell the flowers. He had no desire to fight. And that to me personifies Taurus season. After all, the symbol is a bull. If you feel like you have too much earth in your chart, like you just feel like you're way too grounded, I suggest you move your body in some way. It could be something like cleaning your house, giving stuff away, tithing, laughter, and play, because sometimes Tauruses are a little bit serious and we all need to have a little bit of fun, right? So that is a little bit about Taurus season. So we have now talked about the Aries solar eclipse. We've talked a little bit about Taurus season. And then the next main event that happens like shortly after all of this. So it's like bing, bang, boom. We go from a lunar eclipse or solar eclipse right to Taurus season. And then like on, let me get the right day. On Friday, Mercury goes into retrograde. And Mercury will go into retrograde at 5:34 a.m. Friday morning and will be there until May 14th. So if you're an email subscriber to me, I asked you a couple weeks ago when Mercury was at 5 degrees of Taurus to just start writing down a sentence each day about the things you're thinking about, because Mercury is all about how we think and how we communicate. On Friday, it will be at 15 degrees of Taurus. Well, it's been there for a little bit. It's stationed direct. And this is when Mercury, the planet, looks like it's moving backwards in the sky. And it doesn't really do it. It's an optical illusion, but it is what it looks like. So from Friday till May 14th, it's going to move backwards to 5 degrees. So anything that happened over the last couple of weeks, you might have a time to be able to revisit. And it is a time that is not scary. We have 3 or 4 Mercury retrogrades a year. This is not a scary thing. You go through them a lot, probably more than you ever realized. The difference being they happen in different signs, so they're going to happen in different areas of your life. So everything I just said about Taurus for Taurus season can apply to Mercury. You just want to look to see where between 5 degrees and 15 degrees falls in your chart and use the corresponding horoscope that I just talked about. Because it's in Taurus, your mind, your thinking is probably being slowed down, because that's what Taurus energy does for it. So some of the things I invite you to do is think before you say something, which is always good advice regardless. Stop, reread an email before you send it. Reread through any contract that before you sign it. And if you can wait till May 14th to sign it, go for it. If you can't, that's okay. Just reread it and know that you might be revisiting it down the line. It's a really great time to keep track of your thinking and what you're thinking about. And if you were born with Mercury in retrograde in your chart, like I was, there's going to be a little bit of an R, like lowercase r by where it is in your chart. And I can show you it. So I don't know if you can see it. So I have a little R right there. That tells me that I was born at a time when Mercury was retrograde. And I have a theory, and if you have Mercury in retrograde in your chart, I would love for you to share if you share this theory. I don't feel like Mercury retrogrades are, for lack of a better term, as scary as some people might. Because I always have Mercury in retrograde in my body. So it just feels like it's going the same direction at that time, if that makes sense. I always learn better when I reflect, and I always have to take my time before I make any decision. Not because I'm just a Taurus rising, because that's just how my mind works. Knowing how your mind works in your chart, I feel is very freeing too. And if you're a parent, one of the things I offer is the ability for me to look into your child's chart to see how they think and what makes, how they feel the way they feel, and what their personality is and what drives them and how they love. That is what I offer to parents. And I feel like since I started doing that for my own children, I understand them better. Now, this is a service I offer up to age 21 if your child is in your house and you help pay for things with them. If they've moved out, I do not feel comfortable doing charts for people whose kids are out and flown. Just because I believe in consent. If they're over the age of 14, I do ask you to ask their permission. Do you mind if I look this into it? Because at age 14, kids start to be a little bit more self-conscious. You as an individual, I can totally help you with your own personal chart. And we would have a session that's about 50 minutes in length. And we go through some of your timings, what's going on in the universe at the exact moment and at the time that you were born, to see if we can understand your energy a little bit better or differently. That's what I offer as an astrologist. Tips again for these next few days, today through Friday. Try to ground yourself as much as you possibly can, because there's a lot of energy out there and it's very amped up with the solar eclipse. It's going to feel charged at times, and the more you can ground yourself, maybe limit the amount of caffeine you drink, it might feel like you're not maybe as jittery. If you feel like you need to move your energy, trust your body. This is a highly intuitive time, so trusting your body is going to be one of the best medicines that you can possibly do. As we move into Taurus season, it likes to slow down anyways, because Tauruses love to be slow and move with their five senses. If you are a Taurus sun, I do have a birthday gift in the link in my bio where you can get a reading from me, either a normal birth chart reading or a solar return reading at a reduced price. I love birthdays, so this is how I celebrate them for my people that want to hang out with me in astrology. And then we have our Mercury retrograde starting on Friday that will go through May 14th. It's not scary, it just means all the words to remember. Rewrite, reevaluate, review. Don't try to say anything too harshly, because you might end up apologizing for it later if you're not thinking things through. The last thing I like to do with every new moon live that I do is I love to do a new moon oracle card spread to help understand what's going on. I personally think it's really important during a solar eclipse to do it with us, or to use your oracle cards and things of that nature, because that way you're having the energy that's out there help guide you to your highest and best. So if you would like to be connected to this new moon solar eclipse, let me put this here. So if you would like to be connected to this new moon oracle card reading, Feel free to write connect even if you're watching this on the replay or if you're watching live. If you're on TikTok, feel free to tap the screen, whatever works for you. I will be using the Colette Baron Reed Dreamweavers Oracle cards as our messages for it. I love her Oracle decks because they are always designed for the highest and best in each person. And this one can only be read upright. So there is no protection mode for it. It is for everybody's highest and best good. So if you would like to claim this Oracle card reading, please put connect into the comments, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. And let's get started. The first card we're going to choose is what do I need to know about the quality of my current intention for our highest and best. So let's see what the cards have for us. I don't have any flying cards, we'll just use this one. Position 2 is how do I co-create for my most empowered self? And I got a card already. Position 3, what action do I need to take in order to ignite the magic of my intentions? I got another one. Position 4, what do I need to do to co-create for my highest good at this time? This one wants to come out. Position 5, what is the potential outcome of my intentions? And position 6, how, if at all, do I course correct to be in better alignment for my intention for the highest good? All right. So again, this is for the Aries Solar Eclipse, and this is open to anybody who wishes to connect with it. And I'm going to read all of the cards for it. All you need to do to connect with it is say connect to yourself in the comments, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. So the first card that was drawn is what do I need to know about for the quality of my current intention? And the card that was drawn is number 38, which is if the taste is sweet and good. So the quality of our intention is if the taste is sweet and good. And the overall message for this one is when things are as good as they seem, blessing in life can be thankful, success, and grace. There's times in your life when you wonder if this is really too good to be true, if the beauty is you see is real, if the love you feel and the forgiveness you offer is life-changing as it seems. Now is the time to release all your doubts and revel in the bountiful blessings being bestowed upon you. Do not allow any thought of unworthiness to taint the moment or allow any indulgence in a rash act to keep you from moving forward, to distract you from receiving and taking it all in. Slow down and savor this moment. Well, we just talked about Taurus season slowing down. It will not last, nor should it, but it does invite you for full, absolute attention. Who are you to deny these gifts? There are moments in life where there's harmony of the universe sings through our bones in the way that life and your part in it seems to just make sense. Let it. We did talk about how this eclipse is. You kind of just need to let the energy roll through you. So it does feel right to me, at least. Let me know if it does to you in the comment. Today, if the taste is sweet and good, trust that you're experiencing and allow it. Without trying to capture it or force it to stay, this moment to remember is a beautiful thing. Position number 2 is how do I co-create for my most empowered self? And when I say co-create, it's whatever that looks like to you. Whatever version of the divine it is for you, be it your guides, or whatever that is for you. For this card is number 12, if the wild ones come with sticks. So how we co-create is if the wild ones come with sticks, which I find intriguing. I've never seen this card before, so I'm excited to see what it is. So, negative self-talk, self-criticism, harsh judgments of others and self, and gossip. Ooh. So how do I co-create from my most empowered self? Let's see what it says. Sometimes we find ourselves behind enemy lines in our own heads. Are you noticing your thoughts being negative and unkind? Do you feel frustrated for not being enough, not being perfect, or not getting what you want? You can easily get lost down a rabbit hole of unhappiness, wallowing in negativity and harsh judgment of yourself, and then can be projected outward. Could you be comparing yourself to others and feeling resentful? Sometimes that restless ambition that drives you forward also keeps you overly focused on what you don't have and what there isn't here yet. So you feel dissatisfied with what is. This energy manifests inside you and will show up in the outer world as evidence, so give no energy to negativity. It is not your friend. Now is the time to remove yourself from this destructive energy. Well, we did say you are kind of going to have things be removed, whether you like it or not, with this solar eclipse. And with radical acceptance, understanding, forgiveness, and detachment. You must avoid harsh judgments of others too. Step away from gossip, ignore drama, nasty comments that you see splashed all over social media. Remember that no situation is perfect, so give yourself and others space to be grace and human. So if the wild ones come with stick, let all the negative energy go. Focus on beautiful aspects of your life. Weave your dream. Call on the magic of your desires. Pay attention to what really matters instead of distraction. You'll be glad you did. The universe loves you so much, and you're in the right place. Remember, this too will pass. Position 3 is, what action do I need to take in order to ignite the magic of my intention? And for that, we have this card, which is, if the fox can't find his tail. It's an interesting looking card, isn't it? So that's card 11. So again, this is position 4. What do I need to, position 3, what action do I need to take in order to ignite my magic? The essential meaning is digging deep into your own authentic knowing, avoiding compromise, and chasing your tail. If a fox can't find its tail, it might be because he's chasing the wrong things, looking for the wrong direction, one that is unnatural to him. Sometimes you might find yourself compromising to avoid conflict. If you're comparing place from fear, that will work from the moment, but you still may lose something about yourself in exchange. You know this deep down, but occasionally you need to be reminded to stay true to your inner knowing, so you don't trade truth to acquiesce in giving in to somebody's expectations or perceiving dominance to keep the peace. The same goes for the following trends. Oh, everyone appears to be doing it, so you need to do it too to fit in. Just because you think it looks successful, it's not sustainable. Now is the time to get clear with your unique qualities and offerings based on your values. When you do, this is automatically good for everyone. Don't say yes unless you actually mean a yes, or you feel ungrounded. That said, if you're clear that you don't have all the facts, it's okay to change your mind, but only do what's right for you. You can ask for more information so you can understand the situation better. Avoid defensive reaction, including your assumptions that you may have, aligning better with the idea of a win-win. When you stop chasing your trail, you become gentle, grounded, empowered place. So much good is possible when you do this. I think that is absolutely lovely for what action do I need to take in order to ignite my magic. Position 4 is, what do I need to co-create for my highest good at this time? And that is, when the weavers build the sun. Which is, again, interesting. So let's take a look at number 40. When the weavers build the sun, and again, this answers the question, what do I need to do to co-create for my highest good at this time? The value of dreaming big, success, and seemingly impossible tasks. All this is so awesome. Legend has it that when the dream weavers built the sun, they created a huge ball of fire so they could see all the miraculous things they wove into being. They needed light and more life force energy to flood our world so that life could grow and flourish. Their big dream didn't exist before they imagined what it could be. They made it up along the way. With no plans to follow nor certainty about how to make it, they claimed it energetically, followed it by prompts of the conscious universe and their partner, and they made the impossible real. Right now you're in a similar place. You have a big dream, but you don't know how yet. Sometimes the question whether is possible and wonder if it's not even meant at all. Look at the chaos of the world. Wonder if it's selfish to feel that you deserve any of your desires. Don't give up on your dreams. Something unique will serve a greater good and wants to call your life. You're given this idea as a gift from the divine. It is your mission to forge a new path to bright here. If you knew how to do it, it would mean that you're not dreaming big enough. Whatever your dream, we need you to begin now. It's time to act. Hold the vision of success. I'm laughing because I have a dream to help with you guys. So I'll talk about that next. Lean into this greatness. Just think about how many you will touch in this action. Trust that you're made for this. Step forward. Keep walking. One step at a time. The universe will open doors one by one. This was meant for me as much as this was meant for you. I am starting, I don't have it here. I think I've put it out in the living room. I am starting a new service that will be on my website. It probably will be after the 14th that I launch it. I have consistently brought my dreams to reality for the last 12 years. I've done it in a concrete way, and last year I did it through astrology. And what I'm going to start offering after Mercury Retrograde, because I want to be out of the eclipses and I want to be off of Mercury Retrograde, is the ability to help others bring their dreams to reality too, through a service where we're going to look at the different houses that they fall in their chart and really methodically working with it. When I did this, both concretely through some bulletin boards and then through astrology, I was able to pay off debt, realize a lifetime goal of going to Ireland, help my kids through college, put in a bay window. So it really has worked for me, and I'm very excited to launch this after Mercury Retrograde. It'll be after May 14th. If this is something that interests you and you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, please tell me in the comments. Subscribe to my email newsletter regardless, because when I launch it, it will be launched through my email newsletter first, and my email newsletter subscribers will get first dibs for it. And I think it's kind of funny that this is the card that we get for what do I need to co-create for my highest good at this time, because I've been working through how to make this happen since Saturday. And sometimes the reading is for the reader as well. So now we're up to position number 5. What is the potential outcome for my intention? And it's card number 28, which is if the firebird is called to soar. That's just lovely too. Because did you know that Scorpio has 3 animals associated with it? It is the scorpion, the eagle, and the phoenix. Doesn't this just look like the phoenix? So cool. All right, so let's see what this has to say. So again, this is position 5. What is the potential outcome of my intention? You know, we almost made it through the whole thing. Next. You missed it. The FedEx guy already delivered. I love dogs. Thank you for the rose. Dude, you can stop. So again, this is for position 5. What is the potential outcome of my intention? 28, a firebird is called to soar. Being fully yourself and knowing who you are and who you're becoming authentically and shining on behalf of the divine is the essential meaning. Do you know who you are? What you truly value, what matters to you, and how you genuinely feel about things? Can you be that person without worrying about what others think? You are unique, and a special being with you follows your path, your own journey to travel. You've been incarnated with a purpose to build in every being. You don't have to look for it forever or ever. It is inside of you, and it's been there all along. This is something to celebrate. It's just a great sympathy that's been made up of instruments, each one integral to the whole. Your special note is essential for the great song of life. You need to play your note, not someone else's. So at this moment, being yourself, speaking up about what's important to you, making choices from authentic desires to participate is always what's best for everyone. You have come so far in your life. It's time for you to be proud of who you are and what you have to offer the world. Like a firebird called to soar, you are called to express the fullness of yourself and shine. Just remember your true heart. It's okay to be vulnerable. Take off masks you hide behind. Then and only then can you make an empowered choice to fly. Ready? The dream movers feel you are. So again, that was to answer the question, what is the potential outcome? So it basically is saying, if you're being authentic, go for it. Position 6 is how, if any, do I need to course correct? And that card is number 23, painting across the sky. So this is the last card for the Aries Solar Eclipse. And this one answers the question, how, if all, do I course correct to be in better alignment? Card 23, painting joy across the sky, joy in all forms, loving life, being grateful, sharing joy and reverence for life. Life can be a sticky place some days, where safety and trust may not come easily. How do you trust a world that is changing so rapidly, where people seem more and more disconnected from each other, from nature, and from spirit? You work hard and hope for the best, but you can be disheartened and disappointed. Yes, life is a struggle. It can be unfair, hard, corrupt, and hopeless. It is simultaneously hopeful, brilliant, trustworthy, good, beautiful. Nothing is ever perfect, but neither is anything permanent. You cannot bring your attention to the beauty of the cosmos and the nature of her inhabitants, to see the beauty within each person you encounter. Can you remember that joy is a perception, it's perspective, and action? Breathe in and tune in with energy of gratitude. Choose to be kind and compassionate citizen of the world, regardless of the challenges surrounding you. Give freely of your heart, and then you will know how to paint joy across the sky. Joy doesn't need the outer world to behave. In fact, the greatest expression of joy can arise from your deepest sorrows. Remember that joy is an energy, and it's a contagious one at that. So when you cultivate it, spread it freely, and the outer world will reflect on you, back to you in its form. It's so beautiful and meaningful. Choose joy today, and soon you'll note how much richer and fulfilled you are. In fact, more reasons to be joyful will spring up in your outer world the more you pay attention to joy. So if things get hard and you need a course correct, the answer is joy. How can you bring joy into your life? I hope that my musings on the Aries Solar Eclipse, Taurus season coming up, Mercury Retrograde, and then this Aries Solar Eclipse New Moon Oracle card has been helpful to you. My name is Sarah Brennison. I'm an astrologist and I'm a mom. The ways that you can work with me is by going to the link in my bio, and I can do individual birth chart readings. I also do readings for parents to help them understand their children's energy. I am building a new program called Bringing Your Dreams to Reality, where I'll be using the Book of Houses by Robert Hand and your chart and your goals and your dreams for the next year to 5 years on how we can strategically bring them together through your chart and grow them. And building that program is hopefully going to launch around May 14th. My focus on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook has always been, and YouTube, to share when the moon changes sign, because the moon is our energy of feeling. And when we understand why people feel the way they do, it's just easier to work around them and be around them. So I truly hope that this has been helpful to you. If it has, please leave a comment to let me know one way or the other. If you have a question, feel free to ask. And if you would like to book a reading, it would be my honor to work with you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate you.